Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Pro Wrestling Logic channel and the World Class Championship Wrestling Review series. We will have up through the end of 1985 up tonight, and hopefully that is enjoyable for you. We go into the month of November. November 2nd, I believe, is the next episode in the log. Yes, November 2nd. We move into a little bit more of the latest stadium show and a split show, actually, as the main event is from the Cotton Bowl, and the first two matches are, in fact, from the Sportatorium. So Rick Rude and Tommy Montana is up first. Rude, as mentioned in the most recent episode, has his traditional Rick Rude black sequined robe. Rude uses his power early, does a lot of posing, does a lot of gesticulating. Time in Memphis, very good to Rick Rude as he manages to wander around there. Slow match, but at the same time, Rude uses every motion to matter and count. Montana does brawl with him pretty well, stands, punches, and kicks, really basic stuff, but at the same time, well enough done to where people take him seriously. He nails a DDT, a bit more of a leaping style, and gets a victory quickly. Then we move into the second match on the card. John Tatum versus Rick McCord. Tatum, of course, with Missy Hyatt. Hyatt, who is to most male fans, especially at the time, and probably some female, the Hyatt, the big part of his act, and he goes back into the ring. Rick McCord, I think, is the later Austin Idol, and kind of hard to, I wouldn't say hard to tell them apart, but certainly two very platinum blonde folks. Really basic match. Tatum takes the majority of the match early. McCord, at this point, I don't think has really done as much as he later does. And obviously, Missy goes to the outside, and a missed shot by Tatum with an elbow from the second rope on the inside. So certainly that's a pretty major thing. McCord comes back to his feet, cannot be held down despite the hair pulls of Tatum. Tatum is not a guy who is willing to waste a bunch of motion, but is also a guy who does a good bit of selling when given the opportunity. Swinging neckbreaker where Tatum almost loses him, almost an over-rotation on a swinging neckbreaker. Proof that botches happen even in the I guess you'd say younger times, younger days, whatever have you. And then we do see a big vertical suplex front face plant by Tatum. 1, 2, 3 gets the victory. And so the remainder of the match, almost a half hour of this program, is dedicated to the Von Erichs, Kerry and Kevin versus Hernandez and Adams, the dynamic duo in a hair versus hair match. I believe this is Falls Count not Falls Count Anywhere, but no DQ style match. Obviously, Gino Hernandez very concerned with his looks, as is Chris Adams. So obviously, in the middle of Texas Stadium, you're not going to see the Von Erichs lose their hair, so kind of a foregone conclusion. Although I don't know that the fans at the time, I don't know if the fans at the time would believe that the Von Erichs were going to leave there bald. Who knows? But what I do know is that this match is probably one of the better matches in this series. Obviously, not a full blow-off. They do continue to wrestle, but this is, I guess I would say, the biggest match in the Von Erichs versus Dynamics Duos feud that's gone on in one iteration or another for well over a year, year and a half. One thing that World Class does extremely well is long-term feuds, and that is emphasized here. Kevin comes in, goes heads up with Gino near fall on a sunset flip. Doesn't get what he wants out of it, but gets enough to cause all four men to be in the ring. All four in the ring quite a bit here. Gino Hernandez manages to nearly lose. Actually, Chris Adams manages to nearly lose uh, Kevin with a body slam at a point. Kevin, off the ropes, hits leapfrogs and some shots. Goes back to the stomach claw. The claw is less used now by the Von Erichs than ever before. Not that they don't use it, but I mean there was a point in, let's say, 82, 83, where every Von Erich match ended with the claw. This is not the case here, but I mean they do use it throughout the match. Um, Adams certainly very cocky, very confident in front of the stadium. Kerry Von Erich manages to slip behind, hit a sleeper on him. Kerry is, how to say, not impressed with the estimation of a big deal. Hits the shoulder into the post. Goes Kerry Von Erich. Kerry sent to the outside. And the heels do introduce a chair into the proceedings, and a near fall Kerry Von Erich with the roll up attempt, and that is not sufficient, but gets almost a victory out of it. Meanwhile, there are celebrities at ringside. There are people who are extremely happy to be there. This is, as mentioned, a big stadium show. They do a reunion arena show on, I believe, Christmas night or Christmas week anyway. Kevin back in with a drop kick on Chris Adams, and it's actually getting harder. Body types are changing. Maybe they're hanging out together too much, but Adams and Hernandez do look more alike than they used to. Knee drop by Kevin, and goes straight into the continuation there. We do see all four men come in after um, Kerry uses the claw to try and get a victory. Doesn't get what he wants out of it. Gets enough to kind of tilt things going forward, but not enough to actually end things there. Anyway, we do see the Von Erichs are successful in defeating the dynamic duo. Wrestlers have to come out, and they make a 10-minute production out of the shaving of the heads of both men. I mean, Adams and Hernandez both are shaved baby's head bald in the middle of the ring. The baby faces come out and help to make sure all this happens. Needless to say, the heels are not impressed. This is a spectacle, and they are shaved clipper ready bald. So that is the end, I believe, of that Texas Stadium event. But anyway, we will be back with more action right after this.